We got a week of crazy tech topics. It's not that crazy, but the world of tech has boomed, as well as also it's a new game. Anyway, 3, 2, 1. Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. It is the Biendeo stream today on this fine 30th of March 2026. I hope you're having a wonderful week, and we'll have a wonderful week ahead of you. Sup Fetty, sup Tom. Let's dive into today's game, and I will tell you about everything that has been going on this week. So let's go over. We've got a new game this week. Ooh. It's been a while since we booted up the old GBA. This is Spyro Season of Ice. It's right there in the title. Spyro Season of Ice is the first of 4 GBA Spyro games. And they're by Digital Eclipse. I have first-hand experience with Digital Eclipse because they made Rayman Hoodlum's Revenge late on the GBA. And that was my promo set for my graduation set on Retro Achievements. So I have direct experience with them. But Spyro Season of Ice is their first, I think it is their first crack at an isometric 3D platformer on the GBA. You know, got music and sound, that's it. This is the first one. The second game is confusingly titled Season of Flame, but it's got a big 2 in the title, so you can tell which one is which. Sometimes.
Hey Spyro, I think I see a flying sheep saucer heading straight for us.
For reference, this came up between Year of the Dragon and Enter the Dragonfly. So timeline-wise, I'm going out of whack on this one. The fourth one is mistake. That is true.
Let's get out of here before it abducts us.
I can't do a Tom Kenny accent, so you're just gonna have to bear with me. That's not a flying sheep saucer, Hunter. It's just a balloon. Wow. Isn't that weird? Enter the Dragonfly basically just took an idea from this one.
Look, there's a note here from Zoe. It says, "Dear Spyro, I'm using every last drop of my magic to send you this message. Someone has cast a powerful spell over the fairy world, freezing fairies and ice crystals, and we can't get out. Now the Rhinox are back and collecting fairies one by one. I wish I knew what they were up to. Please come back."
Oh, whoops, I hit A too soon. This is terrible. We have to go help Zoe.
And all the fairies.
Well, you go see what's happening in the fairy world. I'll check the sorceress' spell book for something we can use to find out who's behind all this.
You know, Bianca, I haven't seen you carry the spell book in a few days.
What do you mean? I never let it out of my sight. It's right in my bag. Oh no, my spell book, where is it? I must have left it at the library when I was picking up that travel book for our Dragon Shores vacation. I gotta go find it.
Bianca, while you find your spell book, Hunter, Sparks, and I will go find those fairies.
See you soon.
And there you go, that's your setup for the game. So we're finding fairies and Bianca's bugging off for a bit. Spyro Year of the Dragon, Season of Ice, is, as you can see, it's a isometric platformer. You rescue fairies. I love that that renders correctly. I love that that renders correctly. Thank you, GBA emulators. I'm playing the European version for reference, so if there's some differences, then that's duly noted. Yeah, it's like you basically ask a team, hey, you gotta make a handheld Spyro game. And, I mean, they kind of captured the essentials. It's Spyro charges, he flames, he jumps, he can glide. You can even do that little hover that he does in Spyro 2. It's kind of the essentials. You go around, you pick up gems, and you rescue fairies or your collectibles for the world. We're going for a 100% run. Retro Achievement supports the US one in this case. I guess if they're not different, there's not really much of a reason to not support it. And on handheld games, it's often more likely the case. Gosh, that dotted line is real throwing me off there, because that shouldn't really be there, but okay. It seems good on the surface. I find this one to be a bit of a tough one to swallow, because they didn't design the levels really well in mind. I think, first of all, Spyro is eternally in the center of the screen. You can hold L and pan over, but you'll immediately compare and contrast with the sequel when I get to the... I'm using MGBA, which generally, you know, is the one. Nice, I think I'm using MGBA. Yeah. Yeah, we're good. We're good. I don't know. But yeah, if you play the sequel, or its secret third game, which is actually a rather incredible game, I like it a little more. It's got its own kind of quirks, but I think at least both of them are direct improvements over this one. They're not letting you jump out of the level at all, but it's like you kind of have to figure out what's with the 3D going on here. You have to, yeah. They do get better with time. It's like ever so slight. Like you see there, it's like, oh, okay. And I know it's like, oh, dummy, it's my fault. But like, legit, I don't know. There's some weird quirks with how how you'd expect platforms to flow in this one. I think it's just because like, any time that you have a jump like this, it's a blind jump. Where it's like, how high is the neighboring platform? I'm not too sure, because they're both not on screen at the same time. And the sequel certainly made it so that every time you do a jump, you can see both ends at the same time. And if you can't, you can trust that it's working well. So, but yeah, other than that, we go around and we rescue fairies, and Moneybags is here. We're gonna need to be spending money at some point. I'm not doing his accent. I don't even have the money, so we can always hit select and see how much stuff is available in each level. So our main goal is just to, max it out. 300 gems, 5 fairies. I think there's 6 fairies in each level. Speedways, that kind of stuff. We've got 100 fairies to go, so I don't imagine this is longer than a 2-stream kind of game. We'll do about half of it this week, and we'll do the other half next week. But yeah, no, it's a nice chill kind of game to go on about and talk about things. I recommend as well, if you ever play this, draws the fairy's cleavage. Come on, man, get your mind out of the gutter. European versions support on handhelds because they don't have direct. Yeah, generally that's the reason why Retro Achievement supports them more, is because, yeah, like you get the additional languages. Often you'd get bug fixes. Usually the European versions would have any sort of quirkiness about original releases ironed out. Usually. And yeah. Generally I find that's the option. Obviously on Retro Achievements it's like, well, you can kind of pick whatever. And yeah, same Spyro rules apply. Sparks is chilling back there. You can, you get hit 3 times. He goes blue, green, and then he disappears. Same rules apply. You might think that this map looks a little repetitive. Like, Bianca's just chilling over here. And, yeah. Is it specifically with the European version? Because I'm very tempted to just, like, switch right up to the US version and be like, oh, whoopsies. Also, is it a recent bug? Because, yeah, I don't remember this happening after playing it, I think, last year. It's kind of odd. Dang you, MGBA. The nice thing, though, is that because it's a GBA game, I can actually hide it entirely. So people on YouTube, I'm going to go through the effort and hide as many of these text boxes as I can in editing. Because it's only, it's visible only in certain situations, and I'll try my best. I like to keep my YouTube videos a bit more pristine. Other than that, though, every single one of these levels, I usually wander around not knowing where anything is at the end of the day. I'll figure it out eventually. I know I wandered over here, and we had a bit of a bit over here. One thing I do miss, and I know Rayman Hoodlum's Revenge is much later. Oh, 2017, okay. Maybe it's not in the US version. Or maybe I'm just misremembering everything in my life. Maybe there's that. Every time I talk, there's this like weird line that's there on screen. And it's different for different characters, so that's a little inconsistent. I'm generally pressing A bit quickly through the dialogue, so maybe that's going to make my life a bit more annoying when I edit this. I'm standing on things. Other than that, I am going to really have a fun time playing this one because what is my experience growing up with this? I never actually did grow up with this game. I knew of its existence, though, through online video review sites, and I think that's... So, for reference as well, every single one of these levels has, like, a flame so many things to free a fairy, and it always teleports you somewhere else, and it throws me off, because I never know where I am. The levels are a bit awkwardly repetitive, and, I mean, we'll get there, they're not that big, but... Yeah, it's like, ooh, trying to find where on earth I was. Trash pixels, if you let the intro cutscene play for a bit when you start the new game, if you wait a few seconds until the next frame, then skip the cutscene, the bug happens. Oh, so all I gotta do is just reboot the game. Alright, well, finish this world, and then I'll just reboot the game and we'll see what happens. That's a curious one. It's very curious. Okay, so other than that, we'll just, the bot every time. I always feel fancy because I have weekly bot viewership. How incredible is that? We have the best bots. No one has bots quite like my channel. Okay, we got 10 gems missing. Also, there's a whole fairy missing. I'm not too sure quite where he is. I think there's we have 9 gems missing. It's such a like tense countdown. I think there's a platform or something. I'm pretty sure as well someone's got a... Yeah, there we go. If you're ever on darkspyro.net, they've got maps of every... Oh, continue to HTTP site. Sorry, we didn't have a thing. They've got a drawn map of every level as well, so that's gonna help me out just an ever so slight bit. Only slightly though, because I'm looking at it going like, I don't remember this being laid out like that, but sure, yeah. But I do think that there's a ledge over there, but I'm pretty sure we just ended up over there. Because you'd think there's like a flow to the levels, but most of the levels don't have a flow. Reopen immediately after. You know it's good when it's reopened immediately after. But yeah, I had knowledge of this game, but I never owned any of the GBA Spyro games other than Spyro Orange. To my dismay, I was oh, there's a fairy there. So where's the other gems? That's the last fairy. Okay, there's one there, there's one there. It's gotta be close by here, right? Oh boy, we're gonna have fun times wandering around here. You know what's a nice thing? We can, since this is the hub world, I'm gonna keep wandering back to here. Similar thing with me, yeah. I had Crash Purple at least, so I had a little bit of a relative point. I never owned either of the Crash games on the GBA as well. In that case, both of them, other than Crash Purple. Alright, there's one red. Oh, it's so close. Oh, there's another red. Does that mean I never wandered over to this level gate? There we go. Alright, we got there in the end. We got there in the end. I'm gonna enter a level. It might not necessarily be the first level, but it's a level. Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. They're actually, and if anything as well, both the Crash games and the Spyro games on the GBA, apart from that weird crossover, they're all very faithful. So let's quit the game here, and for reference, if I were to continue game, also only one save slot. Anyway, let's do a reboot. So if I start the game really quickly, then I won't have the thing. Because I think I sat on the title screen a bit. But that's kind of curious. That's kind of curious. I definitely recommend playing the PS1 games first. So will I not have the thingy anymore? Oh, I died immediately, by the way. This is my first experience with the game. There you go. Okay.
Hey, it's Steffi.
But yeah, no. This was my first experience. Was insta kill, touch the water, you die, which I'm glad the sequel fixed. But no, we're good. We're good. We got enemies all around, but as long as you at least don't run all the time, I think you're okay. But the problem with me is that I'm a very impatient guy. Other than that, though, yeah, very much like, well, what's the last Spyro game? Well, it involved Rhinox. Let's throw Rhinox everywhere, and so that's pretty much it. You got characters from Year of the Dragon. You got enemies from Year of the Dragon. But on the flip side, you know, like, credit the game for what it does well, which is... Yeah, I think it's fixed now. Credit the game for what it does well. I think Spyro himself looks pretty fine. That is not a ledge I can jump to, which is... That's one where it's like... Because the camera doesn't pan with Spyro, it's very hard to see that far in a direction. Again, I'll mention the sequel. The camera pans, and while it's a little disorienting maybe with the camera moving, the fact that you see everything around you definitely helps out, so... But yeah, to credit the game, I like its environments. It's quite good fun. Music's a bit simple, but... You know, I like the theme they're going for, and especially for a 2001 GBA game. You know, it looks the part. It looks okay. These keys, by the way, they disappear if you die, so if you touch the water without walking back to where you dropped this off... Sorry, man, you lost your key. You gotta go back and get it again, so... It's best to kind of pick them up urgently. No, I think he is just wasted in this one. I think he's off his rocker. But yeah, other than that, it's the end of March. I forgot to mention as well. Remember, next week it's daylight savings in Australia kick in on the Sunday, so we changed the clocks back an hour. So if you're in Australia, or your daylight savings also changes the clocks back an hour, which if you're in the southern hemisphere it might, then I guess the stream will theoretically be at the same time for you. But if your clock is stationary this week, the stream will be an hour later. So just heads up on that one. Which means I guess you can sleep in, but if you're the kind of person who stays up, then yeah, you gotta stay up. Ledge. I don't know if I can glide there. Maybe. I'm pretty sure, at least for a first world country? A first world or level. I don't think there's anything too, like, wildly off. But still, it's like, yeah, a lot of these levels are just, like, sprawled out platforms and stuff, and they fill the space, but there is no flow to any of these levels. They're really all over the place. Like that, for example. Like that. It's like... It's so hard to know how tall a ledge is. I can tell when it's on the ground because of the outline there, but, like, that's kind of it. So, it's on me for jumping it. But it's like, yeah, you can't really tell. So, you might see me do some silly deaths like that. Fortunately, though, the only thing that happens when you die is... you drop, like, your keys and stuff, and obviously you generally don't want to game over, but, you know, like, all the enemies are defeated. I think all the lighthouses reset as well, the collectibles. I don't know, we'll double check on the next one. Yeah, like, these sand castles, it might throw me off. I'll be like, oh, I gotta go back and pick them up again. Something like that. But yeah, I'd always kind of wanted these games, but I never really... you know, had one available near me, and I didn't have any mates with... I think I had a mate with a sequel, but I never got to play it myself. And so, yeah, so my more recent experience was I played all of these... Greetings, Bob. I played all of these around Easter last year. I think I had a little bit of experience just kind of trying this one out before, but I hadn't beaten it. Oh no, the lighthouses say. Okay. Maybe the sandcastles don't say. But I didn't really play this through until last year, and I was like, yeah, you know, it's pretty good. You are tired. Swap 1 hour into the future this weekend, and you're gonna have to be 2 hours into the future next weekend. That's the catch. But no, I got plenty of news stories to get through. I don't have anything too much to say about my week has generally been spent putting out fires with the Guitar Hero set. I feel very bad for people who have problems with the set, but also on the flip side, oh my goodness, guys, make save states because I cannot help you when you just upload a screenshot of, like, not even the results screen, but of, like, the, just, like, the part that shows you your best score. And it's like, it was that. And I'm like, well, I guess, like, that looks okay, but I can't tell you a thing about, like, how you got there. And then on top of that, it's like, other people can get the achievement if I just start up the game. And I know, like, there's bound to be a lot of complex stuff, but, like, if I just start up the game real simply, and I try to go for the achievement, I'll get it every single time. There is no, it's not a dumb thing because, like, one, Lemon didn't raise a bug request, so at least I don't mind Lemon just mentioning it to me and stuff like that. We are back to a Spyro game, yes. They made not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Spyro games on the GBA. And the first 2 came out before Enter the Dragonfly, so look at that. Is that 12 sprites? I think that's 12 sprites. Oh, that might be 16 actually. 16 sprites of him just like sitting and waving in different directions. That's a crazy amount of sprites there. I mean, Spyro himself has 16, but like, you'd expect him as the main character. So, it's a great fun aesthetic. Yeah, the sandcastle's reset, so that's my catch. Can I? Yeah, I can glide this. It does look tight though, doesn't it? Yeah, you never quite know which ones are good. I'd say this one's pretty alright. It's good. I think if you were a kid and you had this, you wouldn't be too upset. Unless you liked your game to be a bit more involved, like the Spyro games ended up being. If anything as well, it's kind of like the original Spyro, where it's like, you go around and you pick up things, and that's it. It is a collectathon through and throughout. Okay, I've done the lighthouses, but I'm still missing 1 fairy and 18 gems somewhere. Yeah, one day we'll get to the Harry Potter 2s. Yeah, there's only one more Harry Potter 1 left, but for correctness sake, we will play that after all the Harry Potter 2s, should I get to it. But I don't have them quite on my my schedule just yet. Maybe I should. I did see it was all the first one. Every Harry Potter game on stream has been the first movie. Which is I'm still a bit on the fence about doing it for Harry Potter 2, because it's like, yeah, you know, I signed myself up to do 4 Harry Potter games with a 5th one coming, and it's like, yeah, they've been kind of curious, but... Oh, really? Dude. Thank you, my man. Thank you. Okay, well, that's the end portal. Okay. But wait, oh, okay. At least it didn't move me that far away. Did we do this clean? Oh, I'm missing 2. I'm missing 2. No. Just... every time, it's always just like, there's somewhere. There's somewhere. Did I really... I think I hit that lighthouse and then didn't come back here for a bit. But yeah, nah, 2 gems somewhere. Time to find the stragglers. Yeah, exactly. This game sorely needs a gem radar. And it's really weird as well, because I don't feel like I had, like, the loose gem problem with the other GBA games as much. but I definitely had it with this one. Again, I think it's just because there's no, like, hard flow of everything. The Game Boy Color stream for the first Harry Potter game was a bit of a wild time because nothing really happens in the game. It just kind of, it quickly ends when, I don't know, maybe I spent too long getting up to that point. I did have the game absolutely bug out on me. I thought that was good fun. See what I mean? It's like, I'm not too sure if I would have pieced together that that was the end of the level. I wandered right past. Well, I feel comfortable about this island, at the very least, so... no, it's not like Gex. I don't think I've played a Spyro game where the gems despawn, other than, I guess, a Hero's Tale, but the gems serve a... they're a currency in that one, more than, like, an actual, like, 100% the game collectible kind of thing. They just keep spawning all the time, so... There's a reason why they despawn, it's because they don't... There's too many of them otherwise. I have never played a Skylanders. Maybe does it have a? It is a retro game technically. Does it have an achievement set? I didn't check if it does. Oh, I think I saw the gem. There you go. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. I guess that's the thing, is that, like, Spyro is a bit of a limbo franchise right now, and obviously, I mean, we talk about which game companies are big and which ones are not, and I think that's a great segue into my first story, which is Epic Games lays off 1,000 people, and they also cancelled Rocket Racing and Festival Battle Stage in Fortnite. Activision Blizzard unaffected, I just want to add. But Activision Blizzard certainly are not a company that are doing particularly hot. So, yeah, oh, dude, I'm curious how many of my news are overlapping your news stories. I don't remember what's the goal of the hub, by the way. But this also comes at the same time as, and I've got another story, which is, oh, where is it? I had one about Facebook firing a ton of people. Yeah, Facebook fired a ton of people as well. Or sorry, Meta. Sorry, the parent company. So a significant number of people from the, formerly Oculus, named. Calling it Meta VR is like, I don't know, man. It's a bit of a weird name. I think we can't. Oh, 14? Sorry, man. Can't do the Speedway. It's too out of reach right now. That's okay, we'll find another level. I think the Moneybags level is somewhere around here. Which, the Moneybags level is just a regular level. So, I'm just like, there's nothing too special. This is where I need to continue. But I need how many fairies in order to continue the game? 20, so... I think there's 3 worlds as well, so... Which is just like Spyro 2. Okay, I'm wandering around looking for a level. I feel like any playtester should probably go, why is this guy just, like, not remember what he's looking at? It's like, because every piece of ground looks the same. Right before... Yes, they made V-Bucks more expensive as well. Which, to me, this kind of reads like they're hemorrhaging money a bit. Lava Prairie, there we go, that's a level. It kind of seems like they're not making as much as what they're investing. Upping the price of things implies to me that either their expenditures are up or the revenue's down. Obviously, I think the revenue is down. Yeah, this one's a trickier one to spot where the edges are. Bonky, there he is. But, I mean, the same rules apply. I don't think the level is too wildly different. It's a nice lava texture, though. Like, it's a really nice looking game for an early GBA, you know? You imagine, like, the Game Boy Color, and it's like, yeah, you know, this has nice little models, and, well, they're not models, but you know what I mean. Oh, yeah, this is a weird one. So you got these, like, weird spiky plants, and you gotta golf them in. It's not too bad. There you go. But yeah, like, we got the double layoff news in 1 week. That's not looking too hot for either of these companies. And I know, you know, like, I guess it's to be expected. But Epic Games, it's not been the first time that they've laid off employees in a while. It's just that this one has directly affected these modes. I generally liked Rocket Racing a little bit. I only play Fortnite a bit, like, here and there to mostly play with a mate. But he liked Rocket Racing a bit. And Battle Stage, I will still sit here and say I got second on my first game of Fortnite Festival Battle Stage, and then I got first on the next 3 matches because I'm awesome like that. And I never played it since, but I still maintain my 75% win rate on Festival Battle Stage as where I'm at. And it's because I only came second on the first one because the top guy was playing drums, and I think it was it was System of a Down Toxicity, and I FC'd it, and it wasn't good enough. The drummer, who maybe he did FC it or maybe he didn't, got more points just because there's more notes, so he naturally had a higher average percentage or average multiplier, and therefore beat me. And I was like, oh, this was right when Festival Battle Stage came out, but. Oh, I want to move it up. Oh, it's really... Oh. I was like, is it snapping to it? Nope, not quite. Come on. There you go. But yeah, the layoffs are quite big, and I think as well, if this is actually the first signs of cracks showing on Fortnite's momentum, I guess the question is how much longer will it necessarily go for? Obviously, Disney has a 10% stake in Epic Games, and so naturally, I think they will probably want to see Fortnite do a bit better. So they might put in a few more promotions, because that generally does attract people into playing Fortnite more than the game modes. Unfortunately, it's the look at that slide, by the way. This is actually a very obnoxious level. But then when the yeah, maybe that might be it. Something else has shut down last week. Yes, we'll also talk about this big one. I feel like some people want Fortnite to stop because they want the idea of a game as a service to die, and I respect that opinion, although I do feel like Fortnite's probably one of the better ones. But man, it's been a while, isn't it? It's like, same thing with Roblox. It's like, there's been a bunch of people who were like 5 when like Fortnite started to be a thing, and now they're 14, and it's been like 10 years. And it's like, how many games actually last 10 years? It's a very low number. But yeah, the other one that's shut down, and I think the one where when we see the collapse of this industry, maybe we'll, like, at least some people from my perspective might be a tad happier. And I say collapse not in terms of I wish the technology died, but rather I wish the, I think I have to wait for the water to start. Oh no, there we go. It's crazy if you think about those. Oh, exactly, yeah. I remember some people like telling me about like TF2 in 2015, and it's like, man, you know, like that's 8 years down the line. I guess though, like people getting into, say, World of Warcraft these days, maybe that's probably the one of the longest examples. That or RuneScape. It's like when I tell people about RuneScape, it's yeah, I was like 5 when I first played RuneScape. I was 6. I used to run like like the first computer I owned. I think there's a closer thingy over here. Or maybe there's not. Who knows? Oh no, there it is. When I was 6, I played off the Game Boy Color. When I was 15, played on the DS. Oh yeah, exactly. Actually, I really want to play as well. I've never played any of the Legend of Spyro games. I owned Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning on the DS, but I don't think that's exactly the most representative one. No, exactly. Exactly. We used to be in a day and age where the games got better and better over time, and unfortunately with games as a service, it's like the games don't exist over time. Games as a service, unfortunately, means that the actual, like, you know, hallmark of a game stagnates at some point. And that's not to say that, like, games can't exist and have long-term DLC, you know, options over time, because I'm eternally, you know, glad about games like Euro Truck Sim. I think that's a great example of a long-term game. I was generally happy about how Payday 2 turned out for a while, for a little bit, and then they stopped it like 4 times, and I wasn't as happy, but that's not to say I'm not a big fan of the Paradox model, but I think it's because I don't think the DLC rings true to me every single time, whereas Aussie Truck Sim, when it could happen. Australia's very empty, though. Like, beyond, like, if you, say, for example, you started in New South Wales, it's like, well, you'd probably want to head up to Newcastle, and you want to get down to, like, Wollongong. And then it's like, Canberra's a bit far out, but I guess you could truck over there. I think Asia would probably be a bit of more fun one. I have no idea how that works, though. Like, in reality, can you truck across all of Asia, or is it like you're a Japanese truck driver? Deliver it out of the Springs? Yeah, maybe. But it's like, yeah, most of Australia is really, really empty, so either you're just gonna scale it down, or literally force everyone on super long trips all the time. So, I feel like, as well, American Truck Sim and Euro Truck Sim have spread themselves out enough. I don't think there's any huge need to split into multiple games. Remember, Euro Truck Sim 2 came out in 2012. I think there's another one up there. There he is. Hooray for hitboxes! Antarctica Truck Sim. Honestly, some form of ice trucking would be awesome, but I think it's, again, so wildly different that, like, I like the direction they took, which is, instead of adding trucks everywhere, why not, what, yeah. There was a Euro Truck Sim one, yeah. It's a lot, cozier of a game as well, but it never had any expansions, it just kind of existed. Dark Outlaw, yes. Yeah, I played Mud Runners very briefly, and I probably should give it a go again, because I really did enjoy playing it a bit. I have no idea where I have teleported to, but I hope it's not too far from where I was. Oh, there's more gems. I think we're still going for 300 gems a level, so there's one more ferry, 31 more thingies. Which implies to me that there's like a whole platform I haven't been to. We haven't really been gliding anywhere. I feel like it's one big contiguous island on this one. I don't have anything to say other than thank you, Sony, for raising the price on the PlayStation 5. Which I might as well mention that story. So, yeah, so the PlayStation 5 is now $100 more expensive in the US. I don't know what the Australian conversion is, but it is really absurd, because this is already on top of the $50 US price increase that they had last year or the year before. This also applies to the digital model, so the digital model now almost costs... Well, I mean, hold on, what are they at now? $650 for a console that launched at $500. The PS5 Pro is also up there. Oh, there's a gem. Where'd that come from? I'm not too sure if Xbox will follow suit. Maybe, maybe not, but... Which is weird as well, because I remember when the RAM shortages were... I didn't even mention Sora, by the way. I skipped over that one. I'll get back to that in a bit, because I've got a fair bit to say about that. But I remember when the RAM shortages were starting to happen, and I remember the article saying, like, who basically had stockpiles of RAM? Like, who had ordered it at set prices and was getting that delivered. And apparently Sony was set. Sony was like, yeah, you know, we can last like a whole year and like not have to worry about this. And Microsoft was like, maybe we'll last, I don't know. And it's like, oh, that's not a good sign. Nintendo wasn't looking too hot either. But obviously they negotiate a contract price rather than buying memory off spot prices. Obviously, if the memory makers don't want to sell things at the contract price anymore, I guess they tear up the contract and compensate the company for tearing up a contract. But I think the point still stands. Maybe that's more lucrative if they find that they can sell their memory for triple the price to someone, which is very crummy. Could also be the oil situation. Here in Australia, actually, I found out, and this is a mild bit of politics, but we had our federal government, they said they passed something that would slash the excise tax that they applied to petrol. They would half the tax to 26 cents a litre. And a part of me was like, oh, that's nice. And part of me was like, hold on, wait a minute. We were paying 52 cents a litre more for petrol? Purely out of a tax? What? Excuse me? What? And I don't think that's very well stated, but it's like, yeah, petrol has kind of been a bit pricey. We've always been complaining about it, even when it hit like 200. And you're telling me that we've always had a quarter of that was taxed already. Never mind, there's already a 10% sales tax on top of that, which is included in the 200 cents a litre. And it's like, what? They raised the price of the PS Portal too. Oh yeah, exactly. I don't hate the idea of the PS Portal, but a part of me is like, I would prefer like some interconnectivity with another device. I like the idea of the ROG Ally in terms of Microsoft just going, hey, give people the full functionality of the device they bought and don't lock it into a certain, like, narrow use case. Because, yeah, the PS Portal, it's like, well, you need a PS5 to then play games on a fairly expensive handheld. Like, I don't get the price. It seems a bit odd to me. I feel like I've been wandering around a bunch, which... I'm either, like, running the extremities of this platform and I'm just, like, not seeing the part that I need to, but it's curious. Yeah, the PS5... yeah, I mean, depends how you want to define a luxury item, but certainly it's like, yeah, you know, like... And... Flip side of the coin, it's not to say that PC gaming is really any cheaper right now. It's certainly a bit crazy in its pricing as well, but like I got a mate who's trying to hunt around for a machine for $500 and everyone is trying to upsell the machine because they've got 16 gigs of RAM. It's crazy. I mean, they're well within their rights to do so, but it's like, oh, you know you didn't buy that RAM for that price. I had a kit of 32 gigs and I sold it to a guy for, I think I sold it for $250. Which I had paid a bit more because I bought that kit back in 2023 when RAM was a bit pricier. But also, hold on, wait. I have the key, I haven't found the chest. That's my problem right here. I've been wandering around for like, where's the remaining, like, gems lying around? But the fact I haven't found the chest is implying to me I'm doing something crazy wrong. Oh, you know why? Yes. Okay, I think I've got an idea. Maybe let's refer to the map so it doesn't look like I'm wandering around like an idiot. Well, it is being a moment, but I hadn't found the chest, so it hadn't quite clicked for me. Oh, and I can't really make that jump. That's really unfortunate. But this is... I'll say less Biendeo moment and more this game needs a map or an easier way to look around you because again, for reference, I'm holding L right now. It doesn't work while you're moving, but the chest is over here. Ooh, hopefully that's all the gem. That looks like all of them. So at least that made my life easy. There we go. Well, now we gotta wander to the end portal. You could exit the level from the menu, but why would you? Go to the end portal, like a proper person. put that shopping trolley back where it belongs. So yeah, so I guess we'll mention the big elephant in the room, which is, I forgot to mention, Sora is shutting down. Sora is ChatGPT, or OpenAI's video generation platform. Originally started as the video generation platform, and certainly other video tools like Google VO and what's another one? Stability has one that they have, and now we have WAN as well for local. Yeah, we're not getting any more Kingdom Hearts. Yep. Isn't there a Kingdom Hearts 4 coming along? I haven't, honestly. This is my franchise I've never played. I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game, so I played 2 hours of the first one, way back when. But I never really got that far in it, so that's on me. Come through this portal by paying me money. I should play it on stream, maybe. That's right, we got a Sparks level. Kind of like Year of the Dragon Sparks levels. There's a fairy at the end. There's 200 gems on the way. Kind of like the Sparks levels from Year of the Dragon. We were sorely lacking like any sort of extra minigame in the Year of the Dragon, weren't we? So, I at least appreciate it. Plays exactly like how you'd expect. You shoot with B, you boost with A, you can hold down a shoulder button to strafe. You got these weird bases everywhere. Yeah, no, they're solid levels. I appreciate that they put in the variety there. So, good on them. Whoops. And I'm rushing way too fast into every encounter. That's how you know I'm great at this. But yeah, so but ChatGPT is shutting down this platform. In the mix of that, they also have had to cancel their billion-dollar deal that they were making with Disney to properly license the Disney properties to then use in their Sora video generation kind of format. I'm not too sure if OpenAI has an image generation platform. Yeah, sorry. OpenAI makes Sora. They are shutting down Sora, so the video generation app, the social media platform / app around that as well. I'm probably phrasing it really poorly, sorry. But they're shutting this down. I think it's effective April 26th, so there's still 4 more weeks of AI brain rot from them, and certainly there's other forms of video AI generation out there. So if you're in the need for generating videos, I'd probably say check out WAN if you're looking at this locally. I hear was it C-Dance? I don't know who does that. Is that Anthropic? I hear that's making some fairly good videos, I guess. But on the flip side, it's like, yeah, like, why are they shutting down? Because OpenAI should be making money, right? Yeah. They also should be, yeah, they should be making money. But the obvious point is, well, if they're shutting this down, yeah, exactly. If they're shutting this down, it obviously wasn't making money. I think the easy tell is to go, I hate these doors, it's automatically closing on me all the time. The obvious thing is, okay, well, first of all, there are 3 costs with running anything in AI stuff. Obviously, cost number 1, research and development. There is obviously a model under the hood. That model takes time to figure out how it works, to gather the data to create it, and then to, I guess, train it to make sure that you've done it right and it all executes all good and that kind of stuff. Step number 2, build the data centers to facilitate a whole big website that people can then be served content that's generated on the fly. Obviously, on the fly is within minutes is their goal, I think. Which, I don't know, for some AI things, I think people want them to be much more responsive than they really are, which is unfortunate. They're really not going to get to that point. Oh my gosh, he's coming at me. And he makes condor noises. I don't know if there's any power-ups in this, though. Now I'm angry. It's exactly boss fights in my Spyro game. Well, I mean, we'd expect boss fights, wouldn't we? Oh, I'm really stuck there. Ooh. Good thing they kind of despawn while they're mostly off screen. Whoop. And then he exploded, and we got a fairy just chilling there. There is also an exit portal that shows up, so let's wander around for those remaining few gems, which I think are just over here. So as long as I don't die in the middle. Yeah, it was like this where I needed... Oh, look at that, a power-up. That would have been useful a moment ago. That's okay. Other than that, quick level, I guess. Don't need to worry too much about them. I believe there's 4 of them. We've got 15 regular-ish levels in the game. This includes hub worlds as well, so I guess we're at 3 of those. I'll try and aim for 8. And then, yeah, 4 of the Sparks levels, so... also the speedways, which don't get maps, I guess. So we'll try and get like about halfway in the next hub. We still got 2 levels to go. So Market Mesa and Stone Age Speedway, wherever they're hiding. Oh look, Market Mesa. But obviously to me, so yeah, cost number 2 is building out the data centers. Obviously, building out building out data centers is all these little alpaca guys. More llamas. That's a competitor AI model llama. Although that's for text, that's not for video. But yeah, obviously then cost number 3 is energy. Once you have data centers built, you know, they'll generally work for a while. The data centers will need recurring treatment, but at least like you can invest in a bunch of hardware and sit on it for at least a couple of years, maybe. Although you probably got staff to, you know, invest in infrastructure upkeep and all that stuff. The candle looks like, yeah, some of the art's a little all over the place. Ding, ding, ding. Don't jump off the ledges. You might be surprised, but I think this map actually has a little more structure. Only a little more. And it still confuses the heck out of me. I'm amazed how many of the sound effects are the same ones used in the PlayStation game, and it, you know, just plays nicely on the GBA. Despite the GBA's somewhat compromised, you know, I guess, sound font. Because it's only, because you can only output on a, on an 8-bit, channel. So that's why GBA games sometimes sound a bit, like, kind of grainier than they probably should. It's because, like, you only have, like, so much resolution to the actual sound. Most computers, we use 24-bit. Most people can't really tell 16-bit. But some people might. And then obviously there's the kilohertz, and I forgot what's the actual, like, frequency that it responds to. It might be 48 kilohertz, it might still be pretty solid, but I'm not too sure. Most likely, it's 11. These ballerina fellas. But yeah, so number 3 is obviously the energy, is that just because you have the data center up doesn't mean that it works. You need to obviously pay for the energy, and running many GPUs in clusters, obviously running them for at least they take a couple of, like, actually quite a number. I think it's like 5 to 10 GPU minutes to render a video, and obviously it's like they're processing things in a queue, and they can work in parallel in some variety, so it's not necessarily one GPU taking that long, but it might be a handful of GPUs that ultimately contribute to that time. Then the GPUs are full sending as well, remember that, because you bought the hardware, you're going to use the hardware, dang it. Although you might optimize that out, I guess. And then you got to ring the hell's bells. And you got to ring them in the right order as well. Although there's only 3. It's just you have to do a lap Bong, bong, bong. You gotta do a lap on them, so... Do we have the middle one that I saw earlier? Maybe. But there's only 3 ledges. There's only 3 like high points in the level, so... At least that keeps it... ooh, what's going on there? Oh my goodness! It's an egg thief, and he's stolen a fairy. Oh, and he's gone. Okay. Sound effects from Year of the Dragon. It's a stupid frozen fairy. These people are very upset about having fairies. I feel like freeing a fairy means that it's indebted to you for life, you know? That should be great. The fairy could do my taxes, you know? Obviously, all that stuff costs OpenAI a bunch of money. So then the question is, okay, well, what's the revenue for Sora? And the answer is, I believe videos cost 40 cents US per generation request after the free ones that people got. For the longest time, I think people got 30 free generations per day. It would keep resetting. They briefly dropped that down to 10. They briefly dropped that down to 5. And then they ran out of money and they cancelled Sora. I think as well, if you did a longer video, it would use more like video generation tokens. Different sites always have different rules. And the point is that does a video cost 40 cents to generate? Well, probably it doesn't consume as much electricity as 40 cents US worth of electricity, but... Ah! Pain right there, because the candles are not lit, fam. That was an absolutely painful one right there. Yeah, that's the big bell, isn't it? Yeah, that's the big one. So I guess we just run it in sequence. Isn't that weird? We got like 3 levels with, well, I guess every level has death ground around it. Every single one of them. Rabbits. But yeah, even if like the electricity costs, and I lost the key as well, so I have to get the key again. Yeah, I'll find it again somewhere. I don't imagine I'm really missing gems though. I feel like I'm fine. Yeah, it's just up here, so it's not too bad. It's just more I don't want to miss track of the candles. I think that's the weird one that's like across the ledge here. Can I hit it from here? There you go. Oh look. Well, at least I know where that went, so that's all good. Obviously though, I think the GPUs are probably crazy expensive on their own, and then never mind, Sora probably costs OpenAI at least $1 billion to design and develop and train and all that jazz. Are they at all close to making $1 billion? Well, let's do a thought experiment. Let's imagine that there are 500,000 active users on Sora. Like, actively at any point, average across the whole lifetime of the service. Let's imagine that they've run for a year. I think Sora 1 was... Actually, we'll say a year and a half. We'll say that they were up for a year and a half. I hit yes, I'm hearing your request again. Let's say they're up for a year and a half, and across the whole year and a half, they had 500,000 users. And each user on, let's say, optimistically 10% of your users paid for, let's say, 5 video generations a day. I don't think this is at all the math at all, but we'll do a... Okay. But we'll do this as a thought experiment to sort of figure out, well, okay, well, how much revenue could they have been making? Oh, that's the middle one. No. Please try again. Okay. So which one's the high bell? It's right next to a fairy. Which one did I ring? It's not up here, was it? Okay. But ooh, that was a weird one. I know the high pitch one is the smallest, but I was like, Oh, you know why? Because I got warped back. That's my problem. Because I thought I was close to the right area for some reason. So I thought I was still over here after I hit this enemy, but no, it teleported me back. That's why I've been very thrown off. There we go. Okay. So using that example, 500,000 users, 18 months, 10% of them paid for 5 video generations every day. I think this is a bit optimistic because honestly, how many people really do value buying video generations every day? I'm not too sure if 50,000 is the right answer. But if we say 50,000 buying $2 worth of video generations every day, that's $100,000 every day of revenue. Multiply that by 365, assuming that it's consistent throughout the entire year, and that's $3.6 million of revenue for the year. Lots of money. But is that $1 billion of infrastructure? Like, $3.5 million annually is not going to pay for your $1 billion investment. At all. Like, obviously, okay, well, then let's multiply the number of users by a factor of 10. Or pretend that every single user paid money. Yeah, you need 333 years. Okay, well, now we've cut that down to 33 years to justify the investment. It's still going to take forever. Never mind the energy costs. Never mind the GPU cost in the middle. And obviously, these GPUs are going to be out of date in 2-3 years for data center standards. OpenAI might consider upgrading them, or they might consider, like, you know, whatever. But, like, people generally, you know, like, same thing with, like, AWS. People generally expect the cheaper machine, or the worst machines, which are still useful, but they expect them to sort of not be, you know, to go down in price over time, because obviously the companies can make the systems at a bit better of a scale. You don't want to glide too far, by the way, because you'll lose track of where on Earth Spyro even is. You'll use your hover and you'll realize you're so far in the foreground. The worst part about this is that I haven't checked, but this might be the last fairy of the level. And I'm still missing gems. Every single time I'm missing gems. They're somewhere. Come on, Irene. No, is there... There's 2 more fairies? What on earth have I been missing? Jeez. I think there's a mysterious ledge hanging off here somewhere. Can't tell you where it is, but it's somewhere. Moral of the story is, it's Eileen. Yeah, I know. I know. Flowers for Irene. That's the one. Oh. Okay, that's a sign. Look at like what I'm trying to look for here. It's like you can't spot this. It's so hard to spot this. And then on top of that, like, where is this in space? Well, we found the gems first. How weird is that? So where's this last fairy then? Oh, where's this last fairy then? Well, they're not mess necessarily in the sense that ChatGPT, on the other hand, I think obviously has, because me saying 500,000 users is actually a remarkably low number considering the literal billions they like saying ChatGPT users. And I think while the proportion of paying customers for ChatGPT is definitely not even 1%, maybe fairies count after you talk to them. I don't think they do. I think it's exclusively when you free them. This guy's vibing though. He's vibing up here. And I just need to make sure I've dotted the I's, crossed the T's on where I'm looking. I don't know why I did that jump. I don't know why I did it. I don't need to worry about doing the candles. We've all done that. I think this fairy is just literally chilling somewhere. Pardon the pun, because he's frozen in ice. But it's just like, I don't know, he's probably just somewhere hiding on this stack, and somehow I got gems, but I didn't get the fairy. Oh, it's so confusing though. I think there's a second, yeah, there's a second staircase. Yeah, he's just hiding up here. Alice in the looking glass. Thank you, Alice. There we go. Away we go. We are 66 minutes into the stream, and I've got to do the speedway, and then that's it for the first world. So, yeah, legit, this is like a 5-hour game. I don't think it's that long. 1,000 Gemmaronis. But yeah, I think ChatGPT, it's got a much larger user base. I don't think people would be willing to pay that much for ChatGPT in general, but ChatGPT also has a subscription model, which is kind of easier to eke out money. Because remember, when I said, oh, $2 per user per day is $60 annually, imagine that. Most people don't, also, this is, beat the course before running out of time. These speedway levels, may I just take the time to describe them, are the worst thing in the world because Spyro... Actually, no, okay. He shoots kind of often when you hold down the A button, but if you spam the button, you might be able to hit things a bit better. Your goal is you need to make sure you hit all the things that have gems. Like that purple one. If you miss it, you gotta try it again. It's kind of annoying. Also, you need to make sure you have time. Again, I kind of like the 3D effect. Also, yes, you can miss the gem after you hit the bat. I don't know if you go for full gems on the first go. We'll play it by ear. I've completely forgotten how this plays out. Also, it's Gallagher. Ouch. Does that mean I don't get his gem? Maybe. That might be a bit of pain. Ah! Oops. And it is all somewhat randomized as well. Am I not even going to clear this? Maybe. Oh no. We're saving it. We're saving it. Oh no, we are not clearing this. So now we're going to fight Dragon Man. There we go. No time! Well, we'll try it again. We'll try it again. But certainly I think that this is probably one of the first big blunders OpenAI has had, because them ditching Sora also means they don't get the deal. The deal, for reference, is the inverse. It'd be them paying Disney $1 billion. So just remember that. It's like technically that needed to attract $1 billion into Sora in order for that to actually pay off. That's not Disney paying them. Moral of the story is, I don't know where the money's coming from, and I think OpenAI has kind of figured out, yeah, maybe we don't either. And honestly, ChatGPT, if you do it right, I think you can generally make more money off just that. I think the video generation is way too expensive. Image generation, much easier. it still takes investment of creating models and stuff like that, and certainly all AI stuff has that, but at the very least, the actual cost of energy to create stuff is way less on text, and also still not that bad on images. Audio's not too bad as well. Audio's a bit mixed though, the context needs to be kind of big. But yeah, I think that, like, certainly it's like, well, this is, you know, this company usually is the juggernaut, but it's not at the moment. And who knows what's going to happen afterwards. But certainly I feel like that's the biggest ones for the cracks. Does that mean the AI bubble's bursting? I don't know. Some people were pointing to I know I chatted to you about this one. Google's got a new, was it Turbo Quant is what they called it? Just a way to quantize there you go. For reference, if you got a turbo button on your emulator, this actually is a bit easier because you can just like spam like a ton of fire, but I'll try and play this a bit normally at first. Just gotta hit the dragon while you can kind of see him. One-eyed dragon. Yeah, well, it's technically today for me, but yeah, no, I'm skeptical of, like, I think that the improvements that they say is, like, it's probably real. There's lots of neat little optimizations and caching and quantization methods that people use in their neural nets in all places, really. You rescued Sam. You'd think that I finished this level, but I didn't really. It's the fight is still not over, unfortunately, because now you have to beat it on hard. What's the difference with hard? I don't know, there might be more stuff. But it's because there's two fairies. So you have to be on hard as well. I think you get less time on hard. But I don't think... Yeah, there's no more gems. So I think you might as well just play it on normal and then beat it on hard. My problem was I was touching too many things. I didn't even beat it on normal the first go. How much time did we start with on the first one? I think we just need to be a bit more aggressive on making sure I get the ones that give you more time. So, but yeah, I like. So for reference, the Turbo Quant thing is just like, yeah, you know, like Google's got this tech that they're. I don't know if it's free or if they're licensing it out or stuff like that. But basically, a way that for certain kinds of tasks you can reduce the memory consumption by 8 times. This does not mean at all that you know, you can run 400 billion parameter models now suddenly on a 16 gigabyte card if they needed 128 gigs before. That's not at all how it works. It'd be certain steps would have a reduction. It certainly might help in various places, though. I'll definitely say that, but. Yeah, it's not quite as dramatic as maybe some would lead others to believe about it. And certainly, it does not mean that companies are going to look at that and go, wow, I can now buy less. No, it means the companies are going to buy the same amount they always did. But they're going to do things a bit harsher. Run their air models a bit stronger. Yes, I am abusing the turbo button on this one because I value my thumb. Wow. Peace Blossom? Peace Blossom? That's her name. I'm not going to question it. And that's the whole first world of the game. Done. Out of 3. So, rinse and repeat. They're not too... The new voice jump scared me. The new voice? New voice? Like just now, or like... or was that just me, like, talking out of nowhere? Okay, so we'll just wander over to... Am I watching a video? No. I was like, hold on, what? make sure you don't have your auto playing videos on the side. I've had that happen before where it's like a video decided to reload. Not on stream, fortunately, I think. I've had a moment where a video is reloaded and it's like jumped me. I'm like, where is this coming from? So
Arg, this spell book is worthless. Look what you did to me. I've got 2 heads and 4 headaches. Those Rhinox better bring me enough fairies so I can prepare the magic potion to get rid of this extra head.
yeah, it tells you about this guy. It doesn't get you into a fight with him. So, anyway, welcome to Winterland. It's got the same music as the title screen. Because it's Season of Ice level. There you go. 27. I'm going to avoid you, money bags, because I know you're going to make me mache, and I'm going to buy the thing and immediately go into the level that I don't necessarily want to go into. So how many fairies do we need to keep going? It's probably 40, right? Yeah, nothing else on Sora other than I've got a mate who's so vehemently against video generation because a part of me is like, you know, obviously, what was the point of this? Because if you intended for it to make money, how were you expecting this to make money? I think even if you had the billion if you had the billion users of ChatGPT and you had 10% of the users paying $2 a day, then I guess maybe it would pay off, but obviously that's not going to happen. And the only reason why ChatGPT has that many users is because literally it's free, you can use it without an account, it's available outside the US, you can't even get 1 billion users using the new Sora. It's not even available in that many countries. It was never available in Australia, so we never had it. Yeah, no, it's the only thing I can think of is that you ultimately wanted to use the guise of a social media platform so you could get some actual human user sentiment about which AI-generated videos are, you know, desirable and that kind of stuff, and then you basically tell some sort of entity about, you know, like, hey, you know, like, we've got this video generation model and we fine-tuned it and created videos that people find convincing. They find them, like, you know, enough that they share around. And suddenly some organization, which seems to find that as a valuable tool, would go, you're right, we will pay $100 billion for you. And you might be wondering, well, who has $100 billion left to spare? Yeah, good question. But, yeah, keep your eyes peeled for any... Not connecting the two, but obviously there's been a lot of fake video information around, particularly recent events in the Middle East, and it's just like, yep, you know exactly who could benefit from this technology. Has someone bought it off OpenAI? I don't know, probably not. But you gotta keep your wits about you, because there's gonna be a lot of false information on the internet forever now, unfortunately, and it doesn't help. This doesn't help. There's always been false information, mind you. People have always been incentivized to lie on the internet and stuff like that, but it's not good fun to have it be more and more realistic and easier to pull off. Although naturally, isn't that just going to happen over time? I think these levels, yeah, one level has more gems. Only one of them. Still missing a good number of gems, but we're almost there. So yeah. But yeah, other than that though, will we be able to afford hardware? Not quite yet. I don't think RAM prices have responded, even though I think you sent an article about like Micro Center lowering prices. If Micro Center is representative of the rest of the world, sweet, but I've never seen a Micro Center discount to ever apply to the Australian markets. And I've never seen the Australian markets particularly, like, I remember when there were shortages earlier, Australia would always be lagging. So every time we'd see, like, something happen, it's just, like, you can respond as an Australian. The Australian retailers do not pay attention to the global news, despite the fact that it often does apply to us, I guess. But yeah, no, we haven't responded yet, so our RAM prices are still absurdly high, which is unfortunate because I would really like to encourage these brand new computer parts to be purchased because they all seem pretty neat. We've got the Intel, not Panther Lake, Arrow Lake refresh CPUs, the 270K Plus and the 250K Plus, replacing the 265K and 245K respectively. There is also a KF version of the 250K Plus. I haven't seen one for the 270, but I don't see why there wouldn't be one. I've talked about them last week when they were kind of announced. They seemed pretty alright off the surface, and the reviews have come out, and the answer is, yeah, they're pretty good. They're really good, actually. For what you get kind of on par with Raptor Lake most of the time. Doesn't necessarily beat it on average, but most of the time it's pretty close. The single core performance and the general game performance is really good. And obviously, catching up to this level's a bit of a visual load. You gotta watch out for the leaves background. Well, at least we know where the chest is. I do remember this one being a bit more painful to navigate around. But the soundtrack's a vibe, though, I tell ya. Sometimes they nail it. Also, yeah, you have to eye these tree trunk platforms. This looks like the start of the level. And know that it's not a ledge I can jump to, despite it, you know, kind of looking the same. It's like, well, there's a certain look of the platforms when they're on the ground. I think I can't jump over that one, who knows. But you know, the processors look pretty alright. The all thread is really solid. Generally, on the 270K Plus, like if you're looking at reviews, it's like sometimes some of the reviewers will be like, oh, the 250K Plus is alright. But yeah, like the all-core still, you know, still got some ways to go compared to the 9950X. And it's like, yeah, okay. And it's like, yeah, but the KF version in Australia, I'm pretty sure it's like the K is 360 Australian, and the KF is 320, and I'm like, that is really good. That's actually insanely good for Australian. Because it's a 6+12 processor, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's got 12 E-cores. And it's also got the 2 low-power cores, I think, as well, doesn't it? Maybe? Maybe it doesn't. But still, it's like, that's a lot of cores. And the Skymont E-cores, they do a lot better than was it Crestmont on Arrow Lake and Raptor Lake? Sorry, Alder Lake and Raptor Lake. Arrow Lake's a new one. But yeah, just making the memory controller a lot better has been very wondrous. The binary optimizer, I think, is helping. I'm not too sure how many reviewers were using that. The one thing I didn't see many reviewers, or any reviewers actually test out, was how does 7200 megatransfers help out? Obviously, a lot of them use standardized memory kits, but I feel like you can't use standardized memory kits when the platforms benefit at different speeds. Just show them at their best. Show them at their best. If you want to control for memory, sure, but like, show them at their best, because if the platform is easier to overclock memory on, then why wouldn't I overclock the memory? The reason why people stick to 6000 for everything on AM5 is because that achieves a ratio with the fabric clock. But like, no one would ever stick to 6000 on Intel. I'm currently running 6400. Like, you run it as fast as you think you can. I might be able to run mine at 6800. I should actually test it. But like, you run it as fast as you think you can. Like, that's what you do. So like, you know, like, or if you wanted to, at least run at the native speed. So on Arrow Lake, it's 5600, which on AM5 it's also, I think on Zen 4 it's 4800, on Zen 5 it's 5600 as well. So like, you know, running on 6000, it's technically an overclock. An AI school with no teachers to open this fall. Oh boy. That just sounds like a scam to me. I don't get it. Like, clearly the AI... gosh, it blows my mind that people, and as well, I know I've lost all the stuff I was doing. Don't worry, we'll make it back. Posture check. Posture check time. But yeah, it's like every single time I see anyone make the claim of like AI is actual intelligence, it's like, no, it's just a predictive system, guys. It's not actually there. No, this is a scam. This is an actual scam if they're actually claiming that, being like, oh, you don't even need to spend time. It's like the reason why we have like, I mean, you know, honestly, like, yeah, like you shouldn't be constantly textbook studying 8 hours a day, because one, kids don't really do that, and two, like that's what like physical education and having like arts and crafts and other sorts of social things, that kind of stuff is, you know, team building stuff. Kids love the group work, or they hate the group work. And you got to force them into the group work to at least appreciate it, because everything is kind of group work when you're out in the field. But like, yeah, it's like saying, oh, it's just 2 hours a day, opening students up for all this other stuff. It's like, yeah, who's doing all the other stuff? Of tuition? Jeez. I guess that's to pay for the data centers. Which, at the end of the day, again, is it worth it? I don't know. So, there we go. I found the ledge. I didn't juke it that time. Is he up here? Who knows? But yeah, not to glaze Intel entirely, because still, obviously, when we match Raptor Lake in many categories, it's like, yeah, it's been 3 years, Intel. And a bit unfortunately, I know everyone who wants to buy into this platform, you know, someone's always going to mention the platform longevity question. But legitimately, like, I think people should have expected Arrow Lake to only last 1 gen. I'm very happy that despite it being a refresh, it is a lot better. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, it's still... What is going on here, by the way? What is flickering right here? There's an enemy somewhere, but I think he's south. Or south. Yeah, there you go, he's right there. It's kind of weird how fast they hit. Mystery Sprite, yes. Everyone likes a good old Mystery Sprite. Big chest. Why'd we do that? I don't know. Yeah, who's gonna look for the kid? Oh, it's just normal to have daycares without kids anymore. Or schools without... Sorry, not without... Well, maybe sometimes without kids, but without teachers. Wow. Yeah, but like the humans can't do anything too wild when the AI gets it like that wrong. And also when the AI gets it wrong, like... The only way that I can imagine that this actually makes sense is if they truly believe that the AI is super duper smart, will, I don't want to say will enslave humanity, but effectively be like so smart that like humans can't compete. But like the obvious answer is they can, because the AI is like, the only thing it's good at is taking human text and turning it into other human text that people enjoy reading. So... but yeah, obviously, back to Arrow Lake refresh. Yeah, obviously, I think the problem with buying these processors is that even though the price of the processors is actually really solid for what they are, like seriously, 320 Australian bucks is like, you used to be buying like a 6-core, like non-E-core Arrow Lake processor, and that was hard stuck at 250 Australian for a long time. I know 320 is a fair bit more, but on the other hand, it's like, yeah, but now you got your 12 E cores and the P cores are doing better than older Lake, I'll tell you that. And it's like, yeah, like, and also it's a K processor, so it's like, oh, you can overclock it as well. No graphics, I guess, but same thing on the 12400F, I guess. I think even like the 13500, which I kind of liked, is like, yeah, it was weirdly pricey for what it was. I'm trying to gauge if there's a platform over there, but I don't think I can see it. I'm just gonna wing it. Okay. Is he over here? Where was he? Butterfly seemed very late. Where is he? Is he further up? No, there's no more. There's no more level up. So he must be down. He's I don't think I can jump there. I might be able to jump here. Yes. Okay. Oh, this is awkward. I'm going to keep getting warped around the level. Have a trophy. Oops, that's the ugliest chicken I've ever seen. Yeah, I hate getting warped around the level to get my rewards, I tell ya. Listen, it makes more sense when the level's a bit of a ring, because you're generally hitting everything in a, you know, in the same order all the time. Mystery Sprite. There we go. But yeah, the obvious problem is, well, if you're already on some kind of DDR5 based platform, is it worth upgrading from Alder Lake? I don't think it's worth upgrading from Alder Lake. The gains aren't that massive still. From Raptor Lake, no, I don't think you should. Because it kind of feels about the same. From regular Arrow Lake, maybe, but that's on you for buying regular Arrow Lake. And if you're on a Zen 4 machine and you're thinking of upgrading, again, doesn't really seem like it. So the only people I think really should buy this are either people who really, really need the improvements somehow. And there you go, I'm getting teleported again. Or if you're on a DDR4 based machine. And if you're on a DDR4 based machine, the obvious question then is, well, okay, you gotta buy the memory. And then it's like, should you be buying memory right now? Probably not. So you're kind of stuffed either way. You can't buy the machine either because you already have good enough hardware, or you won't be able to afford it. So, unfortunate catch-22 we're in there. But don't let a good product announcement get in the way of AMD sneaking in another product announcement. They announced the 9950 X3D2. They already did the 9850 X3D, which was a slightly better binned version of the 8-core Zen 3D part, Zen 5 X3D part, where they stacked V-cache. They stacked more cache on it, which helps in the cache-heavy scenarios that sometimes come up in games. Generally, most games will find some kind of improvement. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them will. Oh, hold on. We've got to free the fairy, because the fairy's not going to warp me around the level. Will he? Will she? No, we're good. Okay. I'm worried about hitting this thing. So just making sure I've hit everything on the central platform. I think it's central. Yeah, I feel like we've seen it. Okay. Because you know this is going to move me somewhere else again. Thank you, Kojima. But yeah, 9950 X3D2, they announced it, and unlike the other one, it's a little bit different. It's got 3D cache on both the CCDs. It's the same thing as, like, you know, it's a 16-core processor, but with more cache, which is nice, actually. I think it's actually pretty good. Obviously, it's going to kind of be probably the most expensive processor on that socket, unless they release AM6. Oh, sorry, unless they release Zen 6 on the same socket. But certainly, if you have cache-heavy scenarios, well, here you go. You now got a processor that can handle it on both CCDs, which is great. And I generally found from looking at reviews that the Zen 5 X3D chips didn't have the same problems as the Zen 4 and the Zen 3 one, which is that the because I know the one thing I've got left in this level is I've got to deliver the keys. That's what I get for jumping too hard. I'm not even going to look at the stat screen. I'm very certain that's all I've got left. I know the key's over here. It's just navigating back to where the, is it over here? Whoop. Where'd the level go? Oh, there it is. Somewhere around here. Keep going further. They keep making the levels bigger. There you go. Is it the edge of the platform? I can stand on it? Yes? Yes. Okay. But yeah, I haven't seen any reviews of it, but I mean, you could probably infer how it's going to perform, which is basically about the same in games. But at least you're not going to have any scheduling issues, because both of the CCDs are the same. People would still have the thing where it's like games don't quite know whether they work better off the higher frequency of the main cores or whether they like the V-cache of the other cores. And so I think people eternally kept running into that issue with the 16-core and the 12-core version as well of that chip. So I don't know the price. It'll probably be kind of high. Again, if you're a gamer, just don't care. But if you are a content creator, yeah, you might consider it. Also, just remember the V-cache or the extra cache is not necessarily going to make every single thing improve. I think the obvious example that I always bring up is Factorio, which does well in everything before the factory grows large, and then the V-cache processes do well in a bit of the mid-game, and then they fall off just like all the other processes once the actual state of the world gets too big. It naturally happens, and I think people forget that I don't know, it's a bit more common than people expect. I know the thingy's in the bottom. Okay, there we go. There you go. Is that it? There you go. Didn't even need to look at the stat screen. It's a jamming track, though, I'll tell you that. A jamming level, if you will. But I hate these blind jumps, I tell you. Like here, for example, I probably hit that exact same ledge twice as well. Because I really want to like just jump there, but no, you gotta kind of work around it. We got one more piece of hardware release this week. It's the Intel Pro B50, the Arc Pro B50. If you like your gaming graphics cards, look away. It's not for gaming. It's got 32 gigs of VRAM. It's there to do your AI stuff. But good on Intel for pumping out more stuff that actually will help out in that one. I don't know the pricing, but it'll probably be a bit on the higher side. But it is a workstation card, so generally, if you're in the market for a workstation card, then I don't know. Maybe it's actually a bit more affordable than the Nvidia offerings for the same amounts of VRAM. It's also not Celestial, and I know Celestial is somewhat recent, but I'm surprised that they've released the Xe3 cores in mobile chips, and then they've casually come out with another workstation card that's still on Battle Mage. I'm curious if the gains are there yet, or if they kind of are still waiting on getting the software stack right before releasing it in a graphics card format. Maybe. So that's all there. There's also another announcement of one from ARM themselves, announcing the ARM AGI CPU. I hate this. They mean AGI as in short for agentic and not artificial general intelligence. If this is what Jensen meant when he said we have AGI, by the way, which he's completely out of his butt, by the way. Like, the reason why I get so upset about people using the term AI is because we need the term, like, what AI is meant to mean is that you tell the robot you want to do something, and then it figures out how to do that thing for you. In a general sense. So we had to slap on the term general in the middle because people started using the term AI to mean predictive model. Which, if you wonder, how does predictive model actually mean AI? Yeah, same. Yeah, I don't get it either. We somehow got to this point in time. So then we went, okay, well, the reason why they called it AI is because they wanted to play into that science fiction pipe dream where you go, computer, give me, like, make a simulation of this, and it will just do it. Maybe, I guess the question is, how long will it take to do it? We'll get there eventually. But that's to me what I think should be artificial general intelligence. Is the idea that you don't have to actively train a model to solve your solutions anymore. The model may figure out that it needs to train itself to solve a solution, but you don't have to do that. It will figure that out for you. It will figure out the world. It will, bounce back across, like, what it knows. Maybe if it wants to, it can consult models under the hood to do work. But at the end of the day, it needs to turn your English into a solution every time without you explicitly having to do anything more than that. I don't know, obviously, if someone goes, oh, but like, if you said, hey, robot, deliver me a package, and the robot decides to get a mailman to do it, it's like, is that AGI? You got a mailman to assist in the operation. It's like, yeah, but like, you know what I mean? It's like, it figured out a solution that it could convince a human to get to, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, at least it solves the problem of some variety. Man, this one mess is just chilling there, ain't it? We are not there at all. Every single time, Jensen even says, like, oh, we've achieved AGI. No, you haven't. None of this has happened at all. I love what NVIDIA pumps out at times, but oh my goodness, it's completely, like, purely there to play the media game. There is no reality to that sentence, and he's redefining the term that already was a redeclaration of something that existed before because people misused the term AI. So now here we are with the ARM AGI CPU, and what makes it so AGI? Nothing. It's got memory bandwidth, which has generally been what has made a lot of, it's the reason why, particularly, I remember back in the day when AMD used to have slower memory on the GPUs, and NVIDIA GPUs used to run better at higher resolutions. And it was purely because they had more memory bandwidth, so it could pump the frame buffer a lot quicker. It could also be a lot of driver optimizations. There's a lot of differences between AMD and NVIDIA GPUs, so just boiling it down to the memory bandwidth is, perhaps simplifying it. But it turns out that memory bandwidth is great for all the AI inferencing and also the training. And that's why things like Strix Halo for AMD, which is a mobile CPU platform, has quad-channel memory. It has double the memory bandwidth of equivalent desktop processors. And desktop processors have absolutely no option. Unless you go into the Xeons or the Epics. You go into workstation kinds of processors. Yeah, okay, you can start getting quad or hexa or even octa channel memory. You can finally get that bandwidth clawed back, but it's like, why do we have to, like, fight for this? Why is this a feature that they've casually thrown onto the mobile platform? Not all mobile platforms, mind you, but just that one. So very odd. But yeah, no, it's an ARM processor with lots of memory bandwidth, which makes it great for agentic workflows and all that stuff. And, like, I don't hate the idea of doing stuff with more memory. Like, faster memory is better. We generally run into memory bandwidth problems in a decent amount of use cases. So, hey, nice to sort that out. But calling it the AGI CPU I mean, for reference, that's a class of CPUs. I know there's probably a product name underneath. Bee! I'm going to use the power of the sun, apparently. And use the next power. You know, it kind of sprays a bit hard, but you know, I can see this working. Now I'm angry. Kaboom! Easy. I freed you, Jody. Alright, well the portal's there. I guess the gems are behind me again. Who knows? Yeah, other than that, only other real big one, I've got other ones that I've mentioned, I've got in here, there's a post on Hacker News about, I thought there was another door somewhere. There's a post on Hacker News about how GitHub seems to be struggling with even achieving 3 nines of reliability. So for reference, big tier cloud programs will often... Oh, by the way, OpenAI is just going into... they're just saying, Amazon can host our data centers in the future, and it's like, what? So, if you ever see the reports, and I think people will quickly realize on this one, I think OpenAI did have a deal with the memory makers to build out lots of data centers, using the money that they definitely will eventually get from whatever services they make. I feel like whatever deal they would have had kind of fell through, and the RAM never really was sold to them because they never really built any of the data centers to do that. So, I saw there's a Blue Sky post basically saying that, like, oh, you know, like, everyone's been lied to, OpenAI, like, didn't buy any of this. And I think it might kind of be true, to which I then go, so why did we... The reason why I think everyone instinctively had delays and all this stuff, or like, you know, why everyone bumped up all the prices of the particularly RAM and then lots of products downstream, is because people needed to buy the memory months in advance, and they couldn't, because apparently the OpenAI deal was on the table and was like, oh, all the money's going to go to them, or, you know, between these deals, it's that. All the memory's going to go for them. Now that that deal is off the table, I think these companies can now negotiate the stuff again, but this unfortunately pushed people months out of schedule, which is absurdly disruptive. Also, I don't know if it's still off the table. Like, who knows? I think you'd need to kind of be a bit more into the, you know, inside the industry to truly know. I like these weird snowmen guys. Oop. They're going. Oh, come on. There you go. There's too many enemies. We can't make all of them give us gems. Yeah, my only thing with the speedway levels is that they're all kind of the same. You know what I mean? I do like the Mode 7 going on the bottom though. Look at these fellas from Spyro 2. You remember them? Oh, yeah, maybe. Always funny. I like these guys. And now we gotta fight the Double Dragon. Which isn't too bad, because as one's coming, one's going. And they do that juke. Ouch. Okay, don't touch anything, it's not good for your health. Can I spam the turbo button? Oh, I would like to do this in time, thank you. Nope, never mind. It's so over. We'll give it another go, I guess. But yeah, GitHub is unfortunately receiving the grunt of what people refer to as Microslop. And it's weird because Microsoft are making statements now trying to damage control. They've realized too many people are actually jumping to Linux. And everything that they've thrown into Windows has made it a completely undesirable platform. Wow! So they're trying to fix things. Everything has currently been words. Stuff like promising to bring back local accounts, which is like when they say, "Oh, we're gonna introduce local accounts." No, you're going to reintroduce local accounts after you ruined the feature multiple times. The installer like mostly works, but you started to add more and more parts to Windows that panic when OneDrive cannot be accessed. And why can OneDrive not be accessed? Well, it's when the user hasn't logged in with a Microsoft account. It's entirely self-inflicted, and I don't know why they put themselves in this boat, but they did, and now we gotta work out of it, I guess. But, I mean, good on them for announcing it. We'll see the results when it happens. I unfortunately still use Windows. Not unfortunately, but I have noticed it's just not as good. I remember people going like, yeah, if you go back to Windows 10, you'd be surprised that the File Explorer just opens when you tell it to, rather than taking like half a second. It is kind of shocking that it needs to take that long to start up. Every single time, by the way, because everything has to run Edge. Everything has to run a Chromium browser. It's terrible. So, but yeah, GitHub itself has probably been a bit victim to the Microslop because, well, they constantly receive downtime, particularly with the Actions provider. I'm not too sure what's like happening, what are they doing wrong there, but I'm probably all news on my end because I've still got a couple of stories to go. So, but put your like top ones in. Put your top news stories in. Try and shout them out. I'll try and read them out if I've got a little bit there. Freaking dragon thing, smug fella. He knows what he's doing. Oh, it's so painful to hit him with the hold button. I tell you that. But yeah, other than that, didn't we get a new Apple device? I know I mentioned the MacBook Neo, but I do have on my feed Apple Business. They've introduced sort of a I guess a businessing tool. It kind of solves the purpose of deploying a fleet of MacBooks, and I think that's okay on the surface. I prefer that compared to, you know, some third-party software. Like, although I remember when the CrowdStrike thing happened, it's like, well, I had a MacBook with CrowdStrike at the time, and the CrowdStrike thing only affected Windows, so I was safe. But yeah, it's like, well, they gotta do it right, I guess. So if you got a business, I guess it's nice because you can manage your fleet of devices, which, in the wake of the MacBook Neo being announced, maybe this actually will encourage more people to use this. But then they kind of just shilled for their advertising platform on their map service, and I'm like, why? What? Okay, so... spoilers! I know they haven't posted, but spoilers! I got to mention the F1, which happened yesterday. It was pretty alright. They're in Japan. They had Anya Taylor-Joy, Jack Black. Jack Black waved the flag, the checkered flag at the end, and Chris Pratt were all there promoting the Mario movie. But solid race. Suzuka's always good fun. There's not many Suzukas that are bad. No one was driving in the rain and crashing into a truck, or almost crashing into a truck. But solid race, and the retirees was pretty low as well, which is actually very nice because finally we can talk about good reliability on cars. Props to Fernando Alonso. He drove the full race distance. I think he got lapped once. he still got beaten by Checo Perez. So good on Checo Perez for doing really well. Good on Bottas for also committing a full race distance again. We're still not expecting wonders out of them, but the fact that they out-qualified... Because here's the thing, is that I don't think they actually out-qualified anyone in the previous races, and now it's like, ooh, they beat the Aston Martins in qualifying 1, which is very neat. Props to Oscar Piastri for actually getting to finish a race now. Start a race. Wow. Naomi. Wow. But yeah, props to that. Props to Kimi for winning another race. Good on him. Props to Pierre Gasly for somehow fighting off Max Verstappen the whole race. Yeah, you're not going to get through all 11, I'll tell you that. We'll keep it going, but I've only got 2 more levels in this hub. It's like, well, we've done that. That should still be like half an hour, at least. So drop in your news stories. I'll just say I'm down. Oh no, they mentioned the movie a ton. The Jack Black intro to the, at least on the Sky Sports broadcast, he's like, there's no mushroom boost or warp stars. Warp stars, I think, is Kirby. But sure, okay. I think as well they asked like Anya Taylor-Joy like, oh, you know, if you could give a mushroom boost to one driver, who would it be? And she just goes, I've been here like many years and it's going to be Lewis again. It's like, okay, respectable answer. They sort of played her as if she doesn't know. I don't know, not to say she doesn't know much about F1. She clearly does. That's why she's been there multiple years, guys. You can't just, I don't know. Also, they're usually with a team or with a driver. Curiously, they were with different drivers. But yeah, I thought it was kind of weird how they mentioned it. Jensen also made a 6-7 explicit call out in the qualifying, so I'm gonna have to dock marks on that one. Is that a platform or is that a? Well, there's only way to find out. I can't tell if that's. I think that's not clouds, but yeah, you can see this. It's like, oh no, we got like chained jumps now. You just got to know that the platform's over there. That's okay. Again, though, I'll reiterate, I do like the aesthetic of many places in this game. I do appreciate as well all the enemies are trying something different in each level. It's not too many enemies, but you know, how much can you really cram onto a GBA? Guy made a website where you can collect a ton of Happy Meal toys. I saw one which was a gacha for Wikipedia. So every Wikipedia page is on there, and then there's like a very simple kind of like card battler at the end. You just wait a minute, and then you can do your roll. And it's a bit cursed, but I think it's interesting if you want to find a few weird pages here and there. And then if you find one that you know of, it's like, ooh. I unfortunately got too many military pages, like individual battles. That seemed to be my trend there. Hi there. There's a thief. I like how we had one mini game, which was the bells. That was the only one that was like an actual mini game. 2001, a year to remember. I just eat like 10 butterflies in one go. It's like a giant collection. Are about 120 of them the Neopets ones. I still have, like, I think I have a couple of them. A couple of the Neopets ones. I really dig the Neopets, like, collab they had. And I'm absolutely shocked they never made a TV show for Neopets. Because that would have been, like, the most obvious thing to, like, mass market yourself, is to be on television. And they never did. Poor Neopets. Maybe one day I'll mention... I'll reference something, play something Neopets related. Is there a way that we can revive, like, the old Neopets site? Probably not, because it's a website. You have to guess the underlying code. I think it was all based on PHP as well. Oh my gosh, by the way, this thief is... Okay, we're gonna go anti-clockwise on this one. The Neopets ones are gnarly though, because it's like, when I explain it, it's like usually you have toy sets and they'll have like 6 toys. Sometimes they'll have like, you know, maybe 12, sometimes 20. The Neopets one, it's like they had like 15 species, each with like 4 colors. And so that was 60 toys total. And they did it twice. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Wow. They put in a lot of effort onto the Neopets one. Come on. Come on. Ugh, I'm outspeeding him on this one part here. Come on. Yeah, this flame just isn't reaching where you want it to. It's like he's crossing over the diagonal echelon there, because unfortunately, and also the flame button. Oh, my thumb. Pressing down too hard. Come on, like, did that look okay, or... Maybe we'll just chase him. Maybe we'll just chase him. He is hard stuck to a certain path, so I mean, if I can catch him at just the right angle, maybe that works. Ooh. That's a bit of a strange loopy storm. There you go. Nearly drove into the soot there. Oh no, that wouldn't have been great. A dream of Genie. Well, that is the top of that. So, the Super Mario Broth account, all the collectibles in Donkey Kong 64. Thank you, Super Mario Broth. It's been ages since I played Donkey Kong 64, and it's not a no-go for my stream, but I'd probably play Banjo-Kazooie at least first. I think it's worth playing between Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. I think it's a important one to show off there. But someone's probably going to say, you got to play the other 2 Donkey Kong countries first, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I'll get there eventually. I've never actually played the sequels to Donkey Kong Country, so... I do appreciate out-of-bounds collectibles in games. People who figured out that kind of stuff. Like, Just Cause 2 is a classic one I always bring up. It's like, yeah, why did they get the count so wrong, and why were there so many weird ones in there? But that's the fun thing about games, is that, you don't need to do things correctly. You need to do things that people don't witness them. I had a comment about this I mentioned on the Retro Achievements Discord. In the dev channel, we're talking about, like, when you make things stochastically correct where people are probably not likely to, like, do something wrong. And I was like, yeah, I remember for my Hexen set, the achievements for picking up armor items won't work when you have full armor. But most players... Like, I have not had a single person raise a bug request because most people haven't been good enough to never take a hit throughout, like, whole levels. You're always going to get something. You're always going to get hits by something, and that's expected. And so everyone that's played the set as I've expected, which is, yeah. They pick up the armor because they need the armor every single time. Hi there. Oh my goodness. This disappearing vase. You know, from Spyro 2. This is going to get annoying because this vase resets as well when you die. And unfortunately, it's really hard to know where it moves to. Look at this fella. He's an absolute jerk though. He throws from way too far away. Disappearing vase will take all my time, I tell ya. Vanishing vase, if you will. Is this... I think it's this ledge, yeah. There you go. Oh my gosh, but wait, there's a key as well, anyways. Never mind, it did not replace the key, but that's okay. We'll find where this key goes eventually, or I'll fall on the the mist, the mire, and be very sad. Yeah, other than that, this week I basically binged through all of, well, not all of in terms of a mastery, but all of in terms of I only cared about reaching the credits of Kirby Air Ride on the GameCube. I like the game quite a fair bit. It's actually, it's really solid. Classic Sakurai. Full quote of the tweet. Oh boy. Classic Sakurai. I think the racing is a little weird, but I think the city trial mode is insanely good fun and contextualizes it all in a way that I think makes it work quite nicely. So, release project created on Source 2 using S and Box. Where did this life come from? It's just one of those. Completely royalty free. I think you're allowed to release Source 2 games royalty free on Steam, but you're not allowed to release them royalty free off of Steam. That's the catch that Valve has on people. So yeah, there's a ledge over there, and this is obviously one bit too high. You see how weird this one is? Kirby, yeah, not the Switch 2 game, which I do own, but I haven't played yet. And we get teleported away because yay. But yeah, no, I found it was super solid. I love the presentation. I love how wild that city trial mode gets. It's great fun. And Top Ride is also good fun. I did like Top Ride. If anything as well, I think the air ride mode is actually kind of the weakest part. Seems okay. I'm not like crazy hyped about anything that you know, gets announced, so it's always like, you know, I'll see it when it happens. That's why I'm very excited to talk about 3 pieces of hardware that at least got released, or at least the 9950X3D2 got, you know, mentioned to come out on the same day, so it is out, technically. The master is complicated. I stopped at just beating it, and on Retro Achievements they said it's a progression achievement at 100 on the checklist in each of the 3 modes counts as beating. And I kind of stopped there because I was like, some of the air ride time trials are just like so aggressive on me. Yeah, we're still looking for that pot, wherever it's gone. Or vase, as it is. But yeah, no, super solid game. It's not on the Switch Online, is it? I don't think it is. Also, I guess the Switch 2 game contains the levels from the original, so if you've played the Switch 2 game, then you actually know about the levels. Oh, you did? Oh, nice. I couldn't, yeah, some things in Top Right I just couldn't pull off, like, it was like one level, I think it was the water one, you had to get 10.5 seconds, I was like, oh, it's a bit tight for me. Yeah, I did answer, I just kind of said, like, hey, you know, it's a game announcement. Mysterious gem right there, that's got me worried. You know, it's a kind of tranquil level when I'm not like, when there's no enemies left, you know. I like this ledge. Hey, you can glide anywhere from the top of Cliff Town. Oh, I don't know where I'm going from there. I don't know where this vase is gone. Are we missing a thingy as well? 3? 3 fairies I'm missing. Which I think hints to me that there's an enemy on a ledge somewhere. But like, this is obviously the edge of the level. I was aware of that. I didn't know how to say it. I assume you just call it sandbox. But like, I haven't seen anything out of it. So I'm just like, you know. I think that Valve is onto something. I had this comment as well. I didn't mention it about Epic laying off so many people, but it's like Epic laying off 1,000 employees. It's like, I don't think Valve hires more than 500 people. I think it might even be less than 400, but like, they are openly not a massive company in the same way, and yet somehow, compared to Epic, well, they make their own game engine, although certainly it's not as, like, flash or as as lavish as Unreal is, and certainly they don't do all the licensing deals in the same way that Epic do. But you know, I still think it's comparable. They make games, albeit a little infrequently. They have a storefront, which arguably has way more features, and honestly, the Epic Games Store is kind of stagnated in terms of its feature set. I'm not too sure how much they're actually investing in it anymore. And yet somehow Valve is making tons of dosh because Valve's... You know, I don't think Valve is particularly struggling on any of those three fronts. I mean, they still make a ton of money off Counter-Strike in terms of just revenue and Dota. And they still add things to the games. Like, for example, I know for Counter-Strike, they changed reloading. It's clip-based now. You reload, you lose the whole magazine. Which has thrown a lot of people off, but I find it especially interesting that they considered this as like an actual balanced move. They were like, yep, let's pull it off. Why not? Well, not why not. They probably have a great reason, but it's like, yeah, I'm like, wow. Changing that about Counter-Strike is a very gutsy move. But yeah, it's like Valve hasn't had a mass layoff like that, I don't think. Oh, I saw the platform over there. There you go. This looks a bit right. Alright, let's hit the pot, because I know the pot's up here. Oh, it's on that really awkward ledge. You know the one. There was a fan game released last week where you can sail the seas of Wind Waker. I do like the seas of Wind Waker. I remember people saying... I know people like to rag on Breath of the Wild. But on the other hand, it's like, yeah, if you... Like, Wind Waker is remarkably forward-looking as a open-world game, because legit, the exploration is really solid in that one. Well, that's all the gems, at least. Which means that the pot is for a fairy at the end. Am I at the beginning of the level? I think I am at the... No, this is near the end. There you go. Evercade teased a new console. Okay, thank you, Evercade, for teasing and not announcing. I wish we could, like... Not fine, but you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I hate when people tease things. Like, just show it off. Otherwise we get stuff like the KFC console, which will never come out. They still have that website up, and it still says it's going to have Intel 9th gen. We're up to Intel, like... Well, technically this is a refresh, so they didn't up the generation count on this one. But it's like... Yeah, we're up to what is effectively Intel 16th or 15th gen. Yeah, 15th. I was like, what number are we up to? Because you got to do a hover jump on that one. So, pain, I gotta wander around the map again. It's not too far a walk, but it's like, yep. Cult classic Japanese exclusive PS1 robot game. Geppy X. Okay. You do be Geppy. I think I also ticked off on my backlog or on my currently playing list. I had Rakugaki Showtime. I got back into it for a brief moment and I went, yeah, I suck at this. And also all the secret characters are niche and hard to get into. I really struggled with the secret characters. It's a fighting game by Treasure on the PS1. And it's curious because it's effectively, like, it's got dodgeball mechanics. It is, yeah, it is a Treasure game. It's all got dodgeball mechanics. You throw these little smiley faces around and they get angrier and angrier until they get very glowing angry. And then they let you unleash a special move. I love the art style of the game. And I like how the characters feel very, very different every single time. And I generally like how forgiving it is to get through the campaign. Like, it makes everything a bit easier if you die a few times. It's nice and organic. But I hate that you have to be good. this is not a one-stream game. This will be a two-stream game. So I'm going to finish the world. Which still has another level after this one. I'm looking for a pot. Has anyone seen my pot? It's next to a panda, and he's standing next to a pagoda somewhere. So but yeah, this is probably the most annoying one to die to, because it's like, oh, you can't just walk around the level. It's like, oh, you gotta know where he's showing up. It's not this guy, I think. No. I thought I was standing in front of a pagoda. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was another guy who had a meditation crystal. There you go. Yeah, it will be two-stream, but not 3 hours. And I don't think it'll be 3 hours for the other stream as well, because we'll be hitting a very nice halfway point for all the stuff in the game. 4 hours, yeah, 2 hours 40, and yeah, yeah, we're not doing the 4 hour stream. I did see your comments, Fetty, yeah. I don't really have too many thoughts about Geppy X. I'm like, yep, that's a Geppy. What's the one level we're looking for now? We're looking for Honey Marsh. I think it was over on the east side. But yeah, no, I mean, you know, like most games I played on stream, I generally recommend this game. Like, my only real gripes is like, yeah, you know, we're going to the next level. There we go. We go into the next level and we do the same thing again and again. It's like, it really hasn't changed that much between all the levels, but that's okay. Oh, yeah, this one. The B level. With maybe some of the most awkward looking jumps. I mean, when you boil it down, it's fine. The B Rhinox is great, though. New Cotton game. Every Cotton game has to be a shmup. Cotton rock with you. That Cotton do be rockin'. Those flowers are kind of like, or the honeycomb flowers are kind of like the Oh, so this is just the professor. He's just here. Oh no, the Rhinox have returned. Anyway, sort this out for me, thanks. Okay, sure. Have you noticed Bianca is just gone? Like, she's helped us get, like, from one world to the next, but it's like, wasn't she looking for a... Ah! And then the game stalls for a hot second. And I missed a gem up here, so it's on me. That's a mean enemy placement, though. You just can't do anything about these bees other than dodge them, I guess. Like that, yeah. But other than that, I have not got a lot of... okay. I've not got a lot of hard plates, and that was a proper death right there, so, These bees are annoying! I've not got a hard lot of playtime on anything else. Blaze and Blade Busters. A little bit of a mouthful. Say that 3 times real quick. Blaze and Blade Busters. Blah, 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 blah. Real tough one there. Maybe it's more eloquent in Japanese. Or maybe it's not. Jeez, I'm really copping on this level, aren't I? Maybe that's what I remembered, is that all the enemies are in mean placements. The mean bees, if you will. Also, yeah, he needs to go to the future. And how do you get to the future? You hit the tap. Hold on. You hit the tap. You hit the tap. And then you run it. Or something. Did I just charge into the... You gotta run it to, like, these flowers, right? That's what... I was skipping the dialogue so quick. Get the bees in those hives to stop making honey for a while. I used to know what the trick of the bees was, but I think I need to go back to next year to figure it out. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just attract the bees to that flower. So... That's a bit of a weird one. And he can't go off screen, I guess, which is very annoying for this one. There you go. There's one B. But oh my goodness, another mini game. Wow. Hi. Hold on, there we go. Ah! How many gems are in this level? 400 or 300? Still 300. 6 fairies again. So, but yeah. Another early revival, new game in Landstalker. Nice. Okay, there's the thing. Where does the bee go? Where do the bee go? I guess here? Makes sense. Lady Stalker 2D for the NES. Oh wait, there's a flower up here? Oh no. That's gonna be a bit painful. I've done my bees out of order. Yep, I've done my bees out of order, so... Oh. Oh. You gotta climb this. You gotta climb this to pull this out. At least these bunnies keep respawning, but man, I've done this in a weird way, I guess. But it doesn't feel that different after you've gotten this guy down on the ground. Hold on. You see what I'm doing here, right? You get this guy, pull him out on the ground, and then you gotta climb this. Oh, never mind. I'm not climbing that because you fall back like it's Castlevania, apparently. Man, very vicious, very brutal. Okay, let's see if we can get this closer this time. Yeah, you see what I mean? It's like you gotta really go quick. Dang. Jeez. Alright, come on, come on. Put in the gusto. Ooh. I can't hop that fast. Oh, come on. Can I do this one that quickly at least? Oops. Not quite. I thought you were still following me for a moment. But yeah, other than that, I'm not too sure what I'm gonna start this week. We'll see what it is, but it's the end of the month, so maybe I'll play something rabbit related. Really not having a fun time jumping up these platforms with this guy. It's a real struggle town with him. Wow. Okay, come on. Eat your butterflies. Eat your butterflies. Junk Runner 64. That's the one with the open world, isn't it? And the video about how I made an open world Nintendo 64 game. I saw the video, which I feel like games on the Nintendo 64 didn't do open world, mostly because not many people really did open world back then. But certainly, here I am. I'm playing Spyro the Dragon. I know on the GBA it's not using any of that mip mapping tech or LOD swapping technology. But like that was a real groundbreaking thing for like the late 90s was games like that and Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. to pull that kind of stuff off. The fact that Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver works on the PlayStation 1 at all is like actual black magic. Like that is like real wizardry. Another fairy, another day. Saving fairies, I guess. That's the game. That's the game. It's on the main thread. It can only handle so many sprites at once. The game itself does not know what to do when it's got too many sprites on screen, which is a bit of a technical shortcoming. I did see the Portal 64, which is impressive in its own way. Even if someone will go like, well, you know, like... Well, not even if, I don't think. Because, like, how would I put it? Portal is a rather genius use of the stencil buffer in many rendering applications. There's other games that have used portals. Like, I think probably the easy example is Prey 2006, which it's in the name. It came out the year before, so... but Portal did it really neatly. Wow. Portal did it really neat. Wow. Portal did it neatly because the portals were movable, whereas in Prey 2006 they would seem like, you know, maybe they were pre-computed, and maybe they were. Junkrunner 64 is Skyrim sized. I guess we will see when people play it. Making a Nintendo 64 game is quite novel as well. Not to say it's the wrong choice, because people make homebrew games or retro-style games all the time, and the easiest way to make a retro-style game is to make it for that platform. It's why, you know, like Grimace's skateboarding, Grimace Holiday. What was the Grimace one? And it's like, yeah, like that was made in Game Boy Studio. It runs on Game Boys. It runs a Game Boy emulator on the website. But it's technically I mean, it is a homebrew, technically, but it is got the backing of a very large company behind it, so. But I think as well, a lot of people have figured out the major problems with the Nintendo 64 and why games struggled on it. And obviously, like, things like the fact that, like, people have... Wow, this game is struggling with the sprites, I tell you. But why people have figured out how to get Mario 64 running at 60 frames a second, and sometimes I think they can even do that without the chess. Yeah, I probably should, yeah. But like, people have figured out how to get Mario 64 running at 60 FPS without the expansion pack, I think. And it's like, yeah, like, it's just because a lot of the Nintendo 64 is bogged down by a really slow memory bus, and the trick is to minimize the calls to your memory bus in as many ways as you can. You have to be smart about it, but people have... I mean, if you've got enough know-how... I forgot where at the start of the level it was. We'll find it again. I think it was down this... Nope, it wasn't this direction. I mean, there's obviously still enemies on the level, because I'm still missing stuff around here, but I'm just curious where it's gone. It wasn't with the bees. There's butterflies everywhere. That's why Sparks is, or why the game is laggy lands. Bottom left one. Yeah, I'm back over here, and I don't really think I would have missed anything. But if I did, that'd be impressive. Don't charge off the platform. It's not good for your health. There you go. Happy days. Oh yeah, I guess it was back at the start, and I just went the wrong way. Yeah, that's sort of the start of the level. Okay, there you go. There we go. It's good and rewarding when you get the gems, and you know that at least, unless you're game over, I guess, you've locked them in. Oh, like, why did I do that? And the flower's up there as well. We've done the bees. We've got the fairy from the bees, so even though it says 0, I'm not doing it again. But I gotta wander around for the flowers. It involves something like I like. Oh my gosh. Something I like. I had like a really like silly idea, and if someone actually knows how to make this happen, please, I would love to actually like make this happen. I really want to have an interview with Andy Thips about his role at Neversoft, particularly in the Guitar Hero era. I don't think people ask him enough stuff about that, and I feel like he's probably got a treasure trove of nuggets of info about that. He loves talking about Tony Hawk. It's in the name. I get it. But like, oh man, I would love to like just chat to him for like half an hour about just like, oh, you know, like everything that he did, because he saw it all in the Neversoft wing. He was there the entire time. So he was there when they had to pick up Guitar Hero 3. He was there obviously for all the introductions in the later franchise. He did drumming. He did mocap. And I'm curious, did he do charting? I don't know, maybe. So, it'd be cool. As well as also, I'm curious about, like, I don't know who was the person who leaked the 2024 Warriors of Rock demo. 2024 being when people got it and not at all. I think it was like 6 months early. But it having, like, bizarre, like, beta songs that, like, Stairway to Heaven's on it. Obviously, they would have tried it out knowing if it was good fun or not. And they went, we gotta have this song. And it didn't happen in the end. Having a 13-minute live rendition of Thick as a Brick as well. Lady Fantasy by Camel, also 13 minutes. There's a lot of wild ones on there. Also, several mentions of Band Hero 2. Which is, it's fun to look back on. I think, obviously, everyone knows why this didn't, you know, turn out the way... I still like the way Warriors of Rock turned out, but it's like... Yeah, you can tell that there were some things that always have to keep getting thrown in for a mix in every single one of these games. And that's why I would be curious about the stories, because obviously they had ideas for a Guitar Hero 7 as well as a Band Hero 2. And it just never came to be at the end. I love how I've sucked the green gem in. It can't fall off the edge. It's coming towards me, but yeah, no, it would have been sick. They would have been sick. It'd be kind of like, Do You Feel Like We Do in Guitar Hero 5, which was also 13 minutes, but the fact that I had two of them kind of queued up. Was that all the... No, we're still missing one. Oh, it'd be the flowers. It'd be the flower things. Wherever the last one is, but we'll just tick them off. Anyway, yeah, you got there just in time for the news, because I'm nearly done. Wherever this honey flower is. Or if I die, I just, you know, pad out for time. Long awaited, miracle abated. But yeah, no, if anyone can actually, like, if anyone actually can contact Andy Thips. It doesn't necessarily have to be Andy Thips, but I thought, oh, he seems like a fun guy. I watch some of his streams sometimes. Not live, unfortunately, but, also, I hope the industry is, treating him nicely after... Because he was at a Facebook studio that got laid off, not recently, a bit ago. Xenosaga 1 and 2. I did see that one because, the Retro Achievements Discord was going on about Cosmos Appreciation. And as someone who, as of 2 months ago, has actually now played the third game, and therefore pretty much knows where all the story went. I know someone's going to mention the differences with Xenosaga 1 and 2. I know that one. But, that's nice. And, maybe we'll see a set for it soon. But yeah, no. Listen, they're great games. 1 and 3 are. 2 has its bits. 2 feels like the unwanted middle entity where things don't get anywhere. Takes a lot of time to get nowhere. At least 1, it's an interesting new experience. At least 3, it realizes it's the third game and they need to wrap it up. Or at least the final game. I think they intended for there to be more games, and then they went, yeah, we've only got the budget for one more. It is surprise bonus news, yes. That's not it. Ooh. Man, I really lost all of these things when I died, didn't I? I do like me achievements, I guess. I do intend to play Xenoblade very soon. Unfortunately, not on Retro Achievements. I'm going to play the Switch version. Because I kind of want to play the extra content. I played the Wii version before. Maybe I'll go back for the Retro Achievements. But my goal is generally over this year. Oh no, I really do that? I'm actually throwing. I'm actually padding for time. Previously thought impossible. Some people are dedicated lads. There's a reason why I didn't do everything in Hyrule Warriors on the Switch. Okay, we keep the flow, we keep the rhythm, and I'll find everything, don't worry. I'll find everything. Going nuts looking at honey all the time. I mean, it's true, and never mind unplatinum games that clearly have multiplayer features that people will never be able to truly access. Like, for example, if you tell me, oh, we're missing content on the Guitar Hero set because I didn't do anything in the Roadie Battle DS mode, I'm like, bruh, no. Plus, that stuff doesn't emulate. But also, no. I'm shocked that someone managed to do it for Concord. You think Concord would have, like, the simple one of... Not the simple one, but it'd have, like, a play every character for so long. And it's like, well, can't do that. The game was only up for 6 days. I'm glad Marathon's doing okay, at the very least. I remember a lot of people ragged on it, and I feel like, well, it does seem like people want to make a good game somewhere in there, and also it doesn't have the, you know, at least it doesn't have no identity. 2 weeks, actually. Oh, what was I thinking? I thought Concord was 1 week. High Guard wasn't quite 2 weeks, but it was, like, real short. I'm still missing another one. Oh, was it? Oh, maybe it was, yeah. They released it late on PC. Gosh, that really sucks for the people who paid money for it. I know they did refund it, but it's like... Yeah, imagine, like... buying something, and then it's like, yep, we've taken it away from you. Maybe that's the problem, is that the PC sales didn't pick up because it was a bit of a it was a flop on the console as well. Where is this? Oh my gosh, where is this one thing? Let's see. I think it's... I gotta be very careful about these jumps, I tell you. I'm so sweating over every jump in this game. So I got that one. The one down here I got, right? Maybe? Was it down here? I don't know if it was down here. Yeah, I got that one, okay. Reason Sigma 2 Plus was... yeah, I mean, it's always multiplayer. Almost always is. up to there. Easy jump. There it is. Is that's still not it? Ooh. Which other ones am I missing? Alright, we're good. We're good. We got there. We got there in the end. Wow. Alright, now I just gotta find my way out of this level. Because it put me at the beginning, I think. No, this is somewhere near the bottom, I think. Which means the end of the level should be just around here, right? There we go. We're all good. We got there in the end. There you go. You finished the news. So there we go. And I think that's a good... Oh, actually, just before I call it, let's walk into the next world, wherever it's gone. And also bring up some lives while we're at it. I think it's down here? Yes. Great work, Spyro. But yeah. Ooh, you thought we were done. That's right, we got a boss fight. Which we introduced an hour and a half ago. He's chilling in here. There he is. I forgot the voice I did for him. I gave him an Irish accent, didn't I?
Well, Spyro, we meet at last. Did you think I froze all those fairies as a game? Did you think I wouldn't notice that you have been messing up my plans? All I need is the wings of 100 fairies and my potion is complete.
Why'd you freeze them then?
In case you hadn't noticed, I have 2 heads. And I don't want 2 heads, I want 1 really smart head. And those fairies are the key to all of my plans. So after I'm done with you, I'm getting all those fairies back and getting rid of this headache.
Okay. Well, he makes fire. He's got this outside ring here. Yeah, I know, what a villain. Yep, he's trying his best. Whoops, maybe he is succeeding because, there you go. Then he jumps. He's obviously coming at you. There he is. And rinse and repeat. You know, honestly, I could use his outside edge to not even have to worry about these. Yep, that's what I get. That's what I get for trying to play this legit, I guess. I don't give you those luxurious lives as... Oh my gosh, hold on, that was not an insta-death. But unfortunately I took the hit and I burnt all the sheep over here. There you go. There you go. There you go. We redeemed it. It's fine. It's fine. No, we're good. We're good. We're good. Nothing happened, don't worry. But yeah, what a weird boss fight because he's, one, so off-screen most of the time. This is the problem with the camera, is that I can't even see the boss. You know, this is a really... The knockback is really annoying, isn't it? But like, the fact that I can just like ditch the boss over here, he's just gonna chill over here while I don't know, wait for his whirlpool fireballs to slowly creep across the screen so I can charge him one more time. We going 3 hits? 3 hits? Nope, he takes more. Is there a name for, like, the, you know, this style of GBA graphics? There's tons of games that use the pre-rendered isometric, you know, kind of 3D model style. Oh, alright, sorry I hit him. That's fine. Still takes more hits. I was expecting only 3, but... It's a bit slow though, isn't it? It's not 3, it's 5. Well, I mean, there has been a Spyro boss fight where it was 9. Or 10. Oh, he's exploding this time. That's how you know you got him. And he had a fairy. Why not?
Spyro, I have a funny feeling about this. We still haven't found Zoe, so there must be more fairies out there, and Grendel's wand is missing. Why don't you see if you can round up the last of the fairies while I try to track down that wand?
What about the book? The book! Hi. You good? you're just there? Where's the exit? Is it the other way? Oh, yeah, it's probably the other way. The Bibble. Where'd you hide the exit? Oh, I hid it over here. There we go. Oh, there we go. That was a quick boss fight for vintage teens. Here we are. We're in what can only be described as the final world. Nah, I think there's there's 4 worlds. So, if anything as well, this makes a great halfway point in the game. Exactly half of the gems, which I think the percentage does not look at fairies. And, yeah, half the fairies. 53. Not more than half, but... yeah, we got a pretty equal amount of content for next week's stream. So, but yeah, that's it. That's one half of Spyro Season of Ice. Tune in next week for the next bit. Remember as well, that's next week with an hour extra because my clock goes back an hour on Sunday. So if you enjoyed this or you didn't enjoy this, that's okay. You can follow on Twitch, where the stream is 8:30 PM in Australian Eastern Standard Time. We're back to Standard Time. VOD will be on YouTube as always. And you can follow on the Fediverse at m.biendeo.com for all the good memes. Yeah, I don't know, I'll probably send some stuff about what I'm doing. If anyone has issued a bug report about Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock since I have done my stream, I'm going to be upsetty. Someone submitted a bug report during the stream, and I'm like, oh, because I go to bed immediately after this, basically. But yeah, no, have a good one, fellas. Don't stay up too late. Don't eat too much Easter chocolate. If you get sugar highs, you know that it wasn't me. I didn't encourage you. And yeah, just have a good one, fellas. Peace.